We started down the rabbit hole of Wren's Vincent tales with sunflowers and self-portrait. Let's continue with the bedroom. All right, so we are in jail. So the tone of the guitar is it's drawn back and muffled, and that's given us the persona that we're listening from this guard's perspective, possibly, or at least outside of Ren's door in this cell. So that's a cool juxtaposition for the fact that we can see he's playing guitar, but we're hearing it a little bit muffled. So he's adding that layer of depth into that. That's pretty cool. He's got a pedal. It's electric. Yeah, I like that. Never heard him play electric. Oh, it's a Fender Strat. Like we got Vincent's photo and his art on the wall. So I dig this. I haven't heard him play electric before. We know we can play lead for the fact that the way he plucks all the other strings for a lot of his other songs. So this is cool that this is the first time that I'm hearing him as the background rhythm on electric guitar, and he's of course playing lead on a Fender Strat. It looks like it's American made. Fender Strats are made, their versions are American, Mexican, and made in China. If you're looking at variation in quality and price even, a Fender Strat from Mexico is the cheapest. Fender Strat from China is the second cheapest, better build quality. And the third is an American Fender Strat. It's always the more expensive. And you can typically tell just based on the color of the neck, specifically the head at the top. This being a darker tone or darker color typically indicates an American version. And it's all about the wood that's sourced and where it's sourced and why they tend to be more expensive. So when I say build quality, they're pretty much all built about the same. But the types of wood that are used to actually build the guitar make a difference. In any case, I thought it was cool how we've got Vincent's photo on the wall and some of his other art, the sunflowers, on the other wall. I dig this solo. The other thing I meant to point out is that you're hearing him every time he's hitting a note. You kind of get this wow, wow. Couple of things. He's using what's called a whammy bar, and that's what his hand is holding along with the pick on the backside. It's connected to the bridge. So when you press down, the tone will typically go down, and when you pull it up, the tone will typically go up because you're loosening and tightening the strings for it to be able to do that. So it's cool that he's adding this layer of context to the solo as he's playing it. The other thing real quick about this is it almost sounds like he's using the pickup that is closest to the bridge. So on your guitar, especially, well, not especially, most guitars will have 2 or 3 notches on a switch. And that you're actually telling it which pickups to use. So the pickups, if you don't know, are what's underneath the strings that is actually picking up the tone and the sound. So when you're all the way up, that means you're using a pickup that's closest to the neck. So that's typically what you would use when you're playing a rhythm. And it's because it's a cleaner tone. As you move to the middle, you actually are utilizing both pickups, the one closest to the bridge, which is where the strings are coming from, and the one on the neck. So blues and country musicians will use the middle. Using the switch on the bottom, or having the switch indicated at the bottom, that means that you're using the pickup closest to the bridge. And you can tell because it's so high-pitched, a lot of lead guitars will use that. And part of that high pitch is attributed to the strings are coming. So if you have your pickup here and you've got your bridge here, and this is where your strings are coming out over the pickups, your strings, because they are tighter and less resonant when it's coming right out of the bridge, your pickup, when you're using the bottom pickup or the closest pickup to the bridge, it's typically brighter. And again, like I said, in comparison to the pickup that is closest to the neck, which is where you're coming out of the guitar is the neck. So in any case, I just wanted to point that out. It's pretty cool the way he's utilizing the different capabilities of the guitar. The mic, real quick, he's using is a Shure SM7B, which you probably see a lot of podcasters use. They're good microphones. It's a dynamic microphone, so it's built to be spoken up too closely, and it will actually reject a lot of sound. I could go into a ton of detail about that, but nonetheless, he just started singing, so let me flip back real quick. It's like chaos.
Anger. Have you ever felt anger with nowhere to place it? Vincent felt cold, neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated. Look for the new thing, always look for the new thing, but never look inside, never look within, without, above, below, same thing. Wait, it gets deeper than that. The insane thing is sane men living in insane terrain, contort insane brains that are kind of deranged, strange, without the factor of...
I'm sorry, I don't mean to stop it. I want to go with the lyrics. I won't go all the way back. Well, no, I will. So, Vincent felt cold, neglected, and jaded. I'm going to start there. But what's interesting is that it almost feels like we're continuing some of the context that we saw at the end of Self-Portrait, talking about how we're, and I may have made the comment about we're always trying to keep up with the Joneses or buy the newest thing, and we don't really cherish the things that we purchase anymore or that we currently own anymore because we're always looking for the latest and greatest thing. And it's cool that he's, at least the beginning of this song, it sounds like he's continuing that context.
And felt cold, neglected and jaded, impotent, empathy castrated. Look for the new thing, always look for the new thing, but never look inside, never look within.
Never look inside, never look within, without, above, below. I love that he said that we're going to be going deeper in just a second, but I feel like it's continuing that context of not appreciating what you currently have, looking at happiness within instead of materialistic things. That's my take on it anyway.
Within, without, above, below, same thing. Wait,
Same
it gets
thing.
deeper than that. The insane thing is sane men living in insane terrain, contort insane brains that are kind of deranged, strange, without the factor of cause and effect. Factually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect.
Yes.
Let's start at the start. Vincent was born in the dark, home birth to a mother, painted scars on her arm. Track march from the dragon, China white in the palm. Shooting up the birth canal, Vinny fell out like yarn. Tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the theme. Exceptionally average grade, sprayed with low self-esteem. From the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, funny Vinny. He weren't ever good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was dead and stocking. Started a combustion, nothing. pulled him out of debt. The debt collector's rushing to be stripping him of everything. Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats, the days, the weeks the most your life. When the day's done, it's the same one. It's a repeat, it's a rerun. A deja vu religion, a foreboding of a prison. Whole Britain, Great Britain, how Britannia rule the wave. We
Hang on. So, I get why we're in jail, right? Because at the end of Self-Portrait, he, presumably injured the person with a broken wine bottle. But I also like that we're continuing this Vincent tale and story. And not only is this prison a reflection of the assault that he did in the previous video, but it's a prison of, it's a construction of prison from where Vincent was in his life based on what we just heard with the lyrics. But I think even as a larger picture, this is about a concept of people being in prison in their own lives. They don't set themselves free. They only take a look at what's immediately in front of them and not looking at the bigger picture. So I like that he's utilizing the jail as a context for people feeling like they're in prison their whole lives. And the fact he's saying that, I got to go back. He talks about, and I want to go back into working day after day and feeling like basically you're in a prison because it's deja vu and you're repeating it with the shitty jobs. But what he said about his mother, and I don't know any history about Vincent van Gogh. I'm going to pick up where, this is 15, 20 seconds back because I want to, brains that are kind of...
that are kind of deranged, strange, without the factor of cause and effect. Factually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect.
Okay, factually, the man's a casualty of constant neglect. Presumably, we're still talking about Vincent. So, from his story perspective, we're hearing about maybe the issues in life that he led and had gone through were a direct result of being constantly neglected as a kid. Again, I don't know much about Vincent van Gogh, so it's if this is, and I believe it is, somewhat of a biography of Vincent van Gogh, it's impressive the amount of detail that Ren has gone into just to research to be able to put something like this together. I'm just going to pick up here instead of going back 5 seconds.
Let's start at the start. Vincent was born in the dark. Home birth to a mother painting scars on her arm. Start at the start. Vincent was born in the dark.
Home birth to a mother painted scars on her arm. I don't know if we're still talking about Vincent van Gogh or a person, Vincent, that's a character. Only because Jenny and Screech and Violet were characters. Is Vincent just an additional character with Vincent van Gogh's story kind of layered in with this? Because this indicates that Vincent van Gogh was birthed at home, not in a hospital or a proper location, and that she has scars on her arm indicating that there's drug abuse.
Birth to a mother painting scars on her arm. Track marks from the dragon, China white.
Track marks from the dragon, so we're talking about heroin. China white in her palm, okay.
Right in the palm, probably. Shooting up the birth canal. Vinny fell out like yarn.
I love that. It's such I wouldn't say beautiful, but it's such a creative way to very precisely extrapolate how he was born. Specifically with Ren saying he fell out
marks from the dragon,
like
China white in the palm, shooting up the birth canal. Vinny fell out like yarn. Tumbled out, himself unraveling, and that was the theme. Exceptionally average grade, spray with low self-esteem. From the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around me. Cream, get the money.
Yeah, that's true. You know, a lot of people do believe that cash rules everything. And I've lived a lot in my life, and I've been in a lot of varying situations, just as how life progresses. And I would argue that cash is king. The problem, and I think part of what Ren is expressing here, is that a lot of people believe that. They believe money is the means of end, and that cash is king, and that in order to be successful, you have to be wealthy. And I believe, based on Ren's stories, and even specifically the last two that we've seen, it's not about that. We need to look past the immediate things. We need to look inside of ourselves, and we need to look at our surroundings above us and below us and around us, and recognize that money is not everything. Happiness and respect and joy and experiencing life as it is. I mean, if you're always focusing on working just to have money to buy the next thing that everybody else thinks is popular, you're just a cog in this machine, and it's consumerism. That's my take. I have opinions on that, but let me go back to Ren. So I'm going back just a couple seconds. So that was the theme.
And that was the theme. Exceptionally average grades, right, with low self-esteem. From the fire to the frying pan, painting it green. When it's the cash that rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, funny Vinny. He weren't ever good at hustling, shitty jobs that he was dead and stocking. Started up combustion, nothing. Pulled him out of debt, the debt collector's rushing to be stripping him of everything. Eventually, there's nothing. The cycle is a cycle for a psychopath on ice. The day repeats, the days are weeks, the weeks are most your life. When the day's done, it's the same one. It's a repeat, it's a rerun. A deja vu religion, a foreboding of a prison. Whole Britain, Great Britain, how Britannia ruled the waves. We started out with intentions and we ended up like slaves. Drink to kill the tension, but the drinks cost your wage. What helps you is what kills you when you're living too decay.
Ooh, I love that line and the way he gave it. And then he drinks. That is poetic. He says that just to be able to live through the day, through everything that you go through in this cyclical life cycle. And the only thing that can help you at the end of the day is a drink, but then that's coming at your wage. So it's awesome that he goes and takes a drink.
And so it goes. Vinny starts to drink to let go. Soon he's drinking, cause when he don't drink, every day is a day on death row.
Caribbean reggae style. I like that we switched this tone. I gotta go back because I was paying too much to the
cause when he don't drink, every day is a day on death row. So he drinks so we don't have to think. Mercy, days bittersweet.
Blues lick?
When the spirit that's inside of him,
his voice is awesome,
sinks in his teeth. And the months turn over, May to October. More days pissed than the days he spent sober. Skin looks older, demeanor gets colder. Sledgehammer swing to that chip on your shoulder. A cold prison deep in alcoholism. 40% proof, no juice. Inhibition get loose by decision and taboos. When we're living for the booze, who's who he lose himself to? One too many, 1, 2, 3 shots down. Drown those sorrows up in London town. If we in for a penny, we in for a pound. Fate comes full circle.
Yes.
Now it's Vinny boys round.
I like this so far. Yeah, this turd.
Sirens start singing as the screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent.
This is cool. I don't say this to be stereotypical. I would say it's well known, for the most part, that, especially in the era that I grew up in, you had rap and they were always against cops and police. And we've almost got this, I like that he's changed this persona to a rapper, and especially with the music going in. So now we've got this, I like that he's utilized, what's the word I'm looking for? The music style that fits the scene for this. That's pretty slick. I like that.
Man's resistance is another.
I missed the first word, so let me kick back this turd, Richard.
Sirens start singing as the screws murder silence. Stand on my Miranda, my right to remain violent. One man's resistance is another man's tyrant. When tyrants make the law, they go to war with non-compliance. Locked up, Vinny been locked up since his mother knocked up. Kitty grew up fast, pulled his socks up, chop chop. Keep that credit top top. Time is money, tick tock. Quantify the price upon your soul and then it's chop shop. Not particularly special, Vinny spent his life a vessel for the musings of the devil. Repetition caused some issues, turned a hide into a jackal. Building pressure in the kettle, bubble up to boiling level. Ooh,
I love that he's, I should have pointed these out in most of the songs, because he typically has a common phrase. That's not the word I was looking for, but he's got these common phrases throughout his lyrics, and I like that he circles that back around, because for a listener, being able to have something that's relatable and recognizable will bring you back into the song or even pull you deeper into it. So I love that he's being able to utilize these phrases that people are familiar with, and using common references like turn the Hyde into Jekyll, which is cool because we're seeing that, again, another aspect of an alcoholic, and how it's changing their persona with who they are. I'm going to continue. I dig this.
You turned the Hyde into a jackal, building pressure in the kettle, bubble up to boiling level. Ooh, man, he's a mad lad, falling on the warpath. Vinny split the atom like a Nagasaki bloodbath. Skies are raining black ash, copper car lights flash. Red and blue kaleidoscope, some folks don't like that. Never mind, just a
red and blue kaleidoscope. I like this. I pointed this out in my Third Eye Blind song that I discussed. Oh my gosh. Motorcycle Crash. No. Motorcycle Drive-By. That's off of their first album. The one I did, it doesn't matter. How can I not think that's one of my favorite songs? Man. Okay, in any case, in that lyrics, one of the things that I like about Steven, the lead singer and primary writer for Third Eye Blind, is that during the... it's a song about a car crash from a motorcycle. One of the things that I really like about that song is how it's written. And one of the things he talks about it is the mosaic of the yellows and blues and the basically portraying what it would be like if a motorcycle hit a car and the plastics on all the cars and the motorcycles, exploded into the air. And I love that it gives that visualization of this mosaic, because he uses the word mosaic. I love that he used kaleidoscope, because he said red and blue kaleidoscope. So now we had this great visualization with a pinpoint word that gives us this wonderful visual that we're talking about, police lights and sirens. I'm just going to go back.
Flash, red and blue kaleidoscope. Some folks don't like that. Never mind, just a victim of society. The one that serves you alcohol and sells you your sobriety. The one that sells you sex as it pedestals virginity. The one where we elect these lying pests with God ability. One to the two.
I haven't really talked about, just because they've been stationary, and these two parts have been in two different locations. Two different locations, but a stationary location. He was sitting on the bed. He's sitting in a car. But I like this in the sitting in the car. So we kind of have this effect that's almost looks like we're there are artifacts, or maybe we're looking at a VHS tape and we're getting these digital artifacts. The other thing is that I like is that in some cases he has the words up on the screen that are kind of above and below in a staticky looking context. I dig that. The lighting in this is great. It's really focused on him. It makes it easy, especially since he's wearing a white hat or toboggan and white jacket.
To the free, to the one, our boy spun his own web-fed tarantulas come like 9 to the 9 to the 9 for his crimes, timelines intersect. Richard's fate was designed.
Ooh, that was a nice transition. That was smooth. All right, so we're back from the last one.
Paint the picture, set the scene. It's 2019. Richard and a boy named Screech. The hands of fate, they touch and reach. Siblings buried, blood it bleeds. Etched in Richard's memories. Force a model, troubled sleep. Takes a time of absent leave. Hitting the bottle to soften the blow in the walls of yourself, and there's nowhere to go. And his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show. Go to therapy, raggedy seem to plateau. When his popo went loco and woe so low that his mojo no more, no rebound, no yo-yo. And so the time it moved slow-mo. You see the case was never.
Well, that was quick. Two things. That's impressive how fast he went when he was talking. Secondly, it slowed down at the end because he even said slow-mo, so he slows the lyrics down. Let me go back. It was too fast. I'll have to go back on my own and check out the words because I don't want to miss anything. All right, so here we're doing a flashback. I love the fact he did the callback to 2019 with Screech lying on the ground. So we're basically at the scene of where Stephen, the officer, shot Screech.
Troubled sleep takes a time of absent leave. Hitting the bottle to soften the blow in the walls.
Okay, so I know this says Stephen's tale, but I finally just caught that. So after this incident with Screech, we're now from Stephen's perspective lyrically that he obviously did take a time of leave because we heard that at the self-portrait part of the song. So here we are. I guess we're in presumably Stephen's environment. Okay. I'm sorry. I just got to go back for that.
Force a model, troubled sleep takes a time of absent leave. Hitting the bottle to soften the blow in the walls of yourself, and there's nowhere to go. And his friends on the force, they don't call, they don't show. Go to therapy, raggedy seem to plateau. When his popo went loco and woe so low that his mojo no more, no rebound, no yo-yo. And so the time it moved slow-mo. You see the case was never closed.
Okay, so it is him. It was hard to tell because it's blurry at first. So he basically, Ren spoke so fast, but it actually gave this, it gave a nice synopsis of what Stephen was going through on his time off. He's basically saying, his thoughts were muddled. He was having difficulty, so he took a time of leave. He turned to alcohol to help with this. He also went to therapy, but during this time, none of his co-workers checked in on him as he was going through therapy. He hit a plateau, meaning he may have started to show some progression in getting over his issues and his what have you, whatever he was going through with this. But at some point, it just didn't get any better, so he's continued to turn to alcohol. So slow that his mojo
no more, no rebound, no yo-yo. And so the time it moved slow-mo. You see the case was never closed because the motive was confusing. Orphan killed his sister, but his sister was removed when...
Oh, I like that he actually is pointing this out for the idiots like me who didn't recognize that listening to Jen and Screech and Violet. He's like, all right, I'll help, I'll help the people who are have no communication with society and can't do any research, or I'm going to let you know just exactly what had transpired in Violet's tale. So I like that he actually brought that all around, and he's continuing, but let me just go back.
Cause the motive was confusing. Orphan killed his sister, but his sister was removed when the mother died in childbirth. But dying womb life brings the cycle of samsara. Always was quite amusing. Brother killed his sister, but the records seem to show the brother never met his sister, didn't even know. So the tragedy was a catastrophe, a fate fucked up. Richard's losing sleep while his whole family's talked up.
Ooh, what? Oh, we're in a therapy session. Yeah. That was a cool cut, too, between the scenes.
The 5 stages of grief is a common psychological model often used to provide...
So it's an effect that he's using to create this depth, and it's very tinny in sound, so it sounds like he's speaking to a microphone. So I love the fact that he's actually utilizing microphone, and that was probably the entire purpose as he was writing and putting this song together. But I like that we're using it as a prop as well. The music is eerie and it's pretty wonky, but I think that goes really well with what we're seeing here in the story. So it's almost like we're inside Richard's mind, because we can hear him talking to the therapist. Obviously, we're in the middle of a session. There's communication and thoughts going on between the two. And I feel like the music kind of puts us what it would sound like in Richard's mind. It's just chaotic and stress and overwhelming. And maybe, for the fact that he said that his therapy sessions ended up hitting a plateau, that could be at Richard's own demise as well, where maybe he shuts down and he just stops talking and he really stops focusing on and trying to improve himself. So he just starts to plateau. Maybe he's like, this therapy isn't for me. And he just can't stand this chaos that's in his mind. And I will say, from a therapy perspective, stuff like that takes time. First off, I won't go into that. That's a whole personal thing. Maybe I'll talk about it later. Point, though, is I love what Ren has done here. We've got this we've got this situation and scene where, again, we've got this therapist across from each other, and we've got this really cool but bizarre music going on, and we kind of have this sweeping, I think that was a piano or a synth. I'll have to check. Let me just go back, because I missed the part of this.
The 5 stages of grief is a common psychological model, often used to provide reassurance to all those stricken by loss. For loss comes with a cost like frostbite, shockingly cold, paving the road to decomposure, decomposing your soul.
He is so good lyrically. I don't want to keep stopping and going back to the lyrics to point out everything, because you probably already know these lyrics. But I love his craft in choosing the right word to project and introduce this particular atmosphere or phrase is very poignant. I haven't used that word in a while. I mean, he cuts right through, and he's like, these are the facts. For the fact that for the loss comes with the cost like frostbite. Yeah, and the fact that he even circles back and says, okay,
comes with a cost like frostbite, shockingly cold, paving the road to decomposure, decomposing your soul.
Yeah, so we're decomposing your soul. We're not making any progress. If we're not excelling and succeeding, we're just basically going backwards and slowly dying.
One, denial, pretending for a while. Reality retired, but everything is changing. Richie lost the will to smile. How to reconcile when murdering a child. The second stage is anger, feel it bubbling the bile. Anger down the man that served the hand that wrote the plan. If God is will that's good and grand, then damn we are. We all are damn forsaken by creation. Revelations Richard cannot stand. The third stage is bargaining, begging God for second chance. Lord, I know it is a...
I like the effect that we did on his Ren's. It's almost like he came in as a ghost, so to speak. So maybe, you've seen cartoons where you've got the devil on one shoulder and the angel on another shoulder. I felt like this was kind of like the angel on the left shoulder, internally kind of given the retrospect of Stephen really wishing that he could get over what he's done and this grief that he's going through and feeling for having done this to Screech. And I'm curious if this was his first incident, Stephen's, with taking the life of someone. I mean, the fact that we know that he's had grief, he had to take time off. He's going through therapy to deal with it. I wonder, this must be his first incident like this in his career. Okay. But again, I want to go back just a couple of seconds because I love the fact that they changed the
Stand the third stage is bargaining, begging God for second chance. Lord, I know it is a reach, but I'm begging on my knees. Resurrect the boy James, resurrect the boy Screech. I'll devote my life to thee. me, I will live a life of peace. Stage 4 is depression, that's a lesson taught in grief. Depression, demonic like possession, that feeds upon this spark for life. No water is refreshing, no sunlight brings him warmth, no sleep will ever bring resting. His guilt and doubt are oh so loud, the silence sounds so deafening. Depression, depression, the numbing of expression, the negative obsession, ruminating in oppression. Stressing is a lesson when your mind begins reflecting. That's stage number 5. 5 is acceptance.
Okay. Oh, I love that. It almost sounds like the opening to a to a commercial, or the end of a commercial for like some sort of pill or prescription. It's light and hearty, and I love hitting the higher keys on the piano. I got to go back. I like that because I missed the transition. It may have just cut off and kicked in. But I love
when your mind begins reflecting. That's stage number 5. 5 is acceptance.
Okay, so it vocally just faded in. Yeah, this is like, or a commercial or for visiting part of the country, staying in a log cabin. Ooh, no, what?
Souls get shaken up.
Okay,
the road's never quite ideal, but slow rise, dust it off. And let me tell you something, Richie, man, I'm proud, cause you pulled a stitch from the seam, the wound was open weeping. Felt like a regression, but that flesh was set for healing. You wrestled imperfections, misdirections.
Oh, he's got this cool pan going on. Round of the piano, or at least a synthesizer. Going back real quick, because I'm curious to see if we're going to go back to that rhythm that we heard in the very beginning with the piano to the rest of the song, because I dug that, but I liked the way that it switched over right here. That was cool.
Souls get shaken up.
Fade in.
The road's never quite ideal, but slow rise, dust it off. And let me tell you something, Richie, man, I'm
so far right now the music, we hear the womp womp, it's just coming in like waves, but it's still in stereo. We haven't started any panning yet, but this coming
proud cause you pulled a stitch from the seam.
Yeah, after the drum beat, now we kick in left ear and we're going to kind of pan around with this. I like that because it's creating this atmospheric effect that kind of seems surreal, because I feel like, you know, we're as we're going through this story, we've gone through all the stages and we've seen him go through therapy. We saw the initial act, with him and Screech, and now this is our third act where we've got our resolution, so to speak, for this character Richie, and because we've gone through therapy, presumably as indicated through the lyrics, we're seeing that he has improved and become better. And I just like that the music really coincides with a happiness. It's surreal, this surreal happiness. I'm curious if this is going to get dark again, because knowing Ren and his storytelling, I feel like this might not be a happy ending. But I digress. Let me continue.
The wound was open weeping. Felt like a regression, but that flesh was set for healing. You wrestled imperfections, misdirections, what with demons. Most demons are a fallen angel. Truth has double meanings. Perspective disconnects the trauma. Trauma turns to lessons. The biggest curse you'll ever face could be your greatest blessing. Remember, in the darkest times, no need for second guessing. No path is ever linear. A stumble leads to stepping. You're a soldier, a scholar of life's sorrow, and day follows day. There will always be tomorrow when it gets colder. Whatever, it's only weather. Rain feeds the crops, let them grow, think clever. I'm so fucking proud of you.
So I like we've gone from, with some of the lyrics indicating that, life is about money and keeping up with the Joneses and trying to focus outside of ourselves and not pay attention internally for this, eternal happiness. Eternal, not internal, eternal happiness. And we're seeing that this character, but I think it's applicable to everybody's life on a daily basis. We get so focused on, and media is great at this. I won't go too much into that. My point, though, is that I love that Ren is recognizing how society as a whole, somewhat in general, we've always got internal conflicts, and we're always trying to, we would hope, try to be better. And by pointing some of these things out, hopefully it helps you kind of, I don't know, recollect internally how you feel and what you're going through. Maybe even point out or even help you recognize, maybe this is how I am and this is how I think. And I shouldn't probably do that. I should be more aware of again, me being eternally and internally happy. So he's gone through, as Ren is essentially speaking to and singing to Stephen here about being a better person. And yes, the wounds that you felt were there and they were open and they are meant to be healed, and that's okay. And there might be bad days and there may be bad weather, but now hopefully you can look past that. He even makes the point of about the crops and the weather. Let's see.
The rain feeds the crops, let them grow, think clever.
Yeah, think clever. I like that. So even when it's colder,
whatever, it's only weather. Rain feeds the crops, let
them grow. Think clever. So he could have, there's a handful of words you could have chosen to end on instead of using clever, because he used weather. And the fact that he uses think clever, because he's given us a sentence, and it's almost like we're talking to a person trying to, give them insight, or even trying to help relax a kid or educate a kid. And we're just like, listen, yes, things can be bad, but there's a reason for these things being bad. Not that the Richard situation was great, but I like the overall story that Ren is trying to introduce positivity in not looking at, okay, well, today's raining, that means it's going to be a crappy day. No, there are reasons it rains. The universe has its purposes. Your life has its purposes. So think about it. Enjoy the rain. Embrace the rain. It may be cloudy, but that's okay. We need this type of things for crops to grow. Think clever. Think clever. Be clever. Not go outside the box, but sort of go outside your brain in the typical box that you're in with your thought patterns, because your internal thoughts can be detrimental, especially if they're not positive. If they're always against you, if you keep repeating what people have said to you, what somebody may have said to you earlier today, over and over in your head, that can introduce anger, aggravation, depression, lower self-esteem. So I like that he has actually used the word think clever to end this train of thought upon this person. Like I said, kind of like you're talking to a kid. Like, don't wash your hands with melted crayons. Think clever.
Grow, think clever. I'm so fucking proud of you, Richie, my boy. I know you're itchy, my boy, to get to work and deploy. Serve and protect my don, in for the right reason. I know you think you've done wrong, but look at who you become. It's your first day at work, big man. Hold that head up high, my friend. Come on. We're all proud of you, Richie. I hope you get out there and smash it. I mean, what could go wrong?
Yeah, no, we know. Yeah, the end. What? Hold on. Is it? No.
Yes, baby, no baby.
All right, so that's the end of that. I gotta go back real quick. That's no. What? No. But I don't. Okay. If I think back, he did not. We didn't hear gunshots, so we only arrested him.
Wrong.
Right? Because he's on the. Oh man, my memory's terrible. I'm sorry. I have to go. I gotta go to the end of Self-Portrait. I don't think he shot him. I don't think. I know I'm switching up these videos, but I got to pull this together, man. Come on, stupid buttons. Get off. Get off. No. Pardon my ignorance. Yeah, he just... Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't think he shot him. So presumably he's being arrested. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Whew. I was like... I knew this wasn't going to end well, but that was because I wasn't even thinking about what had happened previously. But that made sense because in the last video, self-portrait, Ren even indicates that that Steven's back on duty and he had a time of leave. So let me go. We don't want Vince's tail up on there because that's not where we're at. All right. This is chaotic. Oh, it's already 46 minutes. I contemplated. I was like, maybe I'm doing good on time. I'll go ahead and take a look at it. But I can't. Okay. I want to say somebody mentioned, or several people mentioned in the comments, that this was all done over a couple of days. Is that true? I didn't look at the date. I'll look at this later. I'm curious how far apart these were done and released. This was... holistically, this is a gorgeous may not be it's gorgeous in its certain context. But it's a roller coaster. First, like I said, I really like when we got into Steven's story that Ren did take the time to loop us back around to fully understand. At that point, a lot of you I know are fans, but are there any of you, I won't say who did, are there any of you who did not know about Jenny and Screech and Violet all being related prior to this video being released? I would guess you could have done some research or Googled, Reddit. I'm sure that there are tons and tons of conversations about this. But for the few of you who are like me, who hadn't done any type of research into any of his storylines, caught the fact that, again, that they were related. I did feel like there was some sort of inkling, as I mentioned in that video, for the fact that it says at the end, two twins lying side by side. And that made me think, but then I didn't wrap that around with Violet. In any case, I like the fact that he brought that back around. I love that this one song is, it's like 4 separate stories. We're in a jail cell to start out with, talking about life and being trapped and this repetitive cycle that we're in on a daily basis. Again, feeling trapped. And then, we punch out into... go back. Being in the back of the car, the police car. So we've completely changed music. Wow, this is... Okay, yeah. We've completely changed music being back here in the police car. And we're, again, just kind of further taking out this story. Yeah, I won't go back over this because I want to watch this again. But I love that musically we've changed this. Again, all still, I assume, being in one song. I can't imagine he released these separately. But it's one experience, which is impressive. And then we see, we move on to a completely different tone of Steven not dealing well. And then we go through Steven in therapy. And then we go to, Then we go to Steven having become better, and we've seen with his wife. We've got this joyful music. This song is an entire movie that we've wrapped all this in. I mean, there are typically 5 to 6 stages in a movie, and this is almost how this is. Just this song alone. I mean, even if we decided to take, you couldn't. I mean, you could mix it as subplots and character arcs in the story if we did take Sunflowers and Self-Portrait and this all together. But just specifically looking alone at this, we're looking at this entire act, and there's so much change. And like I said, in a film and a movie, you've got 5 to 6 points that always have to take place that progress and tell the story and make changes, the point of no return. And I kind of want to dig into that more. I need to go back through this at a lot more detail and actually look at the timestamps of when things change, because that's kind of how things work. But musically, this really shows how much variance and talent Ren has. I'm curious if he did do the create the melody and the beats for the rap portion. I would guess that he did, but I would be curious to know. This is mind-boggling. Just the amount of time to go through in piece and put all of this together as these multiple songs within a story, and then turn around and shoot it with almost pinpoint precision in a video. I know that these sections are broken up, but again, most normal artists would have taken a section that would have essentially probably been just one song and then just put a video to that. But the fact that he's taken these multiple styles of music and put them in this massive story and then put them all together in a single video is hugely impressive. So I need to go back through, but I need to do what? Vincent's Tales first, second, and third. That'll be what my next video is on, so I wanted to see. And like I said, I wanted to break this apart because I'm already at 52 minutes. I got to quit talking. It's awesome. I thank all of you for recommending the visualization and experience of what Ren is for these projects. It's incredible. What did you think? What did I miss? I'm trying to, again, be a little bit more precise and paying attention to everything that's going on. This video is a little bit different. There's not nearly as much camera movement as there was or has been in the other videos, which is perfectly fine. We still have some, but obviously for the majority of the other videos, he's walking and singing, or we've got a character that's really sweeping around the room. There weren't any unique camera angles in this one. Ideally, coincidentally, the scene that's on the screen where he's going through therapy, we did kind of go up and around the therapist, but not quite how much we've done in some of the other videos, which is fine because we've got so much more in this. It's impressive. So let me know what you think. What did I miss? What did I get wrong? What should I have paid attention to? Do you like this? It is something. You guys are awesome. You persons, you everyone out there are awesome. Thank you so much for all of the support and all the comments that you've been providing. I love the communication that you're putting out there. It feels like I'm part of something, which is cool. Thank you. So thank you so much for watching Melodic Logic. Stay tuned. I'm going to be doing, like I said, first, second, and third. And let's just continue to see how far this rabbit hole goes. Thank you, everyone. Take care.